They put irons to the fire and do this to let you know that you no longer belong to God, but to a man.
Mr. Wilberforce, we understand you're having problems choosing whether to do the work of God or the work of a political activist.
We humbly suggest that you can do both.
Welcome to Table Talk. I'm Joe Franklin.
And I am Davi Brooks. I'm the marketing director here at Franklin Wealth. And I am so excited to be back again for Table Talk with my amazing CEO, Joe Franklin. Joe, I guess it was probably, I don't know, about a month and a half ago, we went at the end of September with one of our leadership consultants, Davi, and he taught our team for 2 days on a whole weekend. So many incredible things, so many things that we can't talk about today. But I wanted to ask,
Consultant, Davi.
do what?
The leadership consultant.
The leadership consultant, Davi. He's phenomenal, guys, and if you've never heard of him, you need to go check him out. But Joe, tell me, what was the greatest takeaway that you felt took place after that weekend?
Well, the first day was all about being vulnerable with one another, and how can we be more accountable to one another, and accepting personal responsibility for the accountability, assigning our own rewards and consequences, which, if you haven't tuned into that video, we get to hear about some of Nick's consequences.
Yes.
Where
Go back and check that out.
He paid the price because his wife. We're not going to share everything.
No.
But the second day was all about how are we fulfilling our purpose as an organization, and how can we define that?
Yeah.
And so we talked about our job is to help facilitate freedom for our clients, help them move from working and those types of things to having financial freedom and having their money work for them.
Absolutely.
And so they can do the things that give them joy, and that really leads into freedom of purpose. And so what I really feel our calling, and my personal calling to do, is to help people, if they haven't found their purpose, help them find their purpose, but even more importantly, help facilitate them fulfilling their purpose in their lives, the things that God has called them to do, whether that's starting a foundation and working there, or just giving back, or doing things within their own chosen profession to do more for His kingdom.
Absolutely.
And I wrestled with this myself a few years ago. I was at a conference, a Kingdom Advisors conference in Orlando, and had just been through trying to do a merger with another team, and that didn't go well. It was affecting my marriage, affecting my health. Had to call it off, and I was kind of in a low place, and I was thinking, well, is this really what God has called me to do?
Wow.
And while at the conference, I was there with Carter, who's on our team, and Eric Metaxas was speaking, and Eric Metaxas, if you're not familiar, he's written several biographies. His most well-known one is on Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who worked within Germany during the Holocaust and helped make a good bit of change within Germany. And eventually he was killed, but if not for Bonhoeffer, a lot of other people would have lost their lives. But at the conference, Eric Metaxas was talking about William Wilberforce. And William Wilberforce was in Parliament in England, or the United Kingdom, and he'd found Christ when he was a kid, and his parents had kind of led him away from that. And when he was serving in Parliament, he was one of the youngest people ever elected to Parliament at the time. He went on a pilgrimage with, I believe it was a professor at Cambridge, and the professor at Cambridge, and he got to talking a good bit, and he found the Lord again, or renewed his faith, and he was wrestling with what he needed to do with the rest of his life. He was good friends with the pastor who actually used to be a slave trader, John Nash, that ended up writing the hymn "Amazing Grace," and so he was wondering if he needed to be called into ministry, but he later came to the realization that God had him right where He needed him.
That's awesome.
And if not for William Wilberforce, a lot of the Victorian era laws to get rid of a lot of the street prostitution and a lot of these other things, and eventually William Wilberforce was key in helping to abolish slavery and the slave trade in the United Kingdom. And so hearing from Eric Metaxas, that really spoke to me, and later watching the movie Amazing Grace, that really spoke to me as well. I can remember watching the movie and coming to tears, just as like, wow, this is really speaking to me.
Wow.
If you haven't seen that movie, it's a really good movie. But Chris Tomlin actually wrote,
that's awesome.
wrote the song Amazing Grace for the version for the movie. But coming back from that, I realized that God had me where He wanted me, and coming full circle with this, we went back to another Kingdom Advisors conference just earlier this year, and we'd been working with clients on some of this and helping them fulfill their purpose, but we'd realized that we had a light that we were shining, but we were hiding it behind a bushel, and we were afraid to really shine our light to proclaim what we're doing or wanting to do for His kingdom. And so we decided after that to no longer be so afraid and be more bold with our message, and do more in being bold to proclaim what we're doing.
That's
and
awesome.
Work to make a difference in helping others find their calling. And I think and you don't have to go into ministry to
I was just going to bring that up, because there is something that's so important for you as the viewer. There is a such thing that is called marketplace ministry. Not everybody has to teach from a platform of a church. There is just as big of a ministry in the marketplace, and I'm so thankful for what you do and what you allow us to do as a team here at Franklin Wealth. Yeah.
So if you didn't know, Davi used to be in the ministry.
Yes, I did.
So it may be that God has called her to be here. So
yes.
So the other things that we're working on is the world is teaching financial concepts in a way that there's rules of thumb and there's conventional wisdom that may not be the best way to approach things. And we want to go at things from a biblically sound perspective.
I love that.
And teaching finance the way the Bible teaches how we should be approaching finance. There's more verses that talk about finances in the Bible than just about anything else.
That's
I
very
think
true.
Love.
That's very true.
And Jesus Christ talked about finance more in His ministry. He talked about it more than anything else other than the kingdom of heaven.
It's very true.
And so we have a lot to fall back on to refer to that is right there in front of us, and we don't have to rely on the world to teach us what to do. So we are wanting to shine our light more aggressively and help others shine their light more aggressively in pursuing their God-given purpose in their lives, whether they found it or still need to find it.
That's right.
Whether it's setting up foundations or just doing more within the church or what have you. But that's all we have for today.
I'm so thankful for what you're teaching today, Joe. And for those of you that are watching and tuning in, I want you to know that Joe plans on teaching more about biblical principles in finance. So I'm super excited.
Tune in, subscribe to the channel so you can get more. And we do some stuff that's a little bit more fun and weird from time to time. If you didn't catch Elwood, then I'm sorry. You'll have to check on that later. But please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video, and please share with us where you feel that God has called you.
Thank you again for joining in with us today. Please hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the latest content. We'll see you next time.